here with Batman. I'm Mike.
And this is Matthew.
It's the end of the month. It's the last Friday of the month. It's time for a Batman breakdown. This is the thing we do every month. At the end of the month, we break down something in Batman lore in chronological order. Right now, we're tackling Bat Family Origins. But first, a little bit of news has dropped, one of which Matt knows about, one of which Matt does not know about. The first one we're going to do is the one he does not know about, which is that DC has announced Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween is coming in September.
Okay.
Written by Jeff there's a story here about, The Long Halloween and yada, 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 yada. There was a sequel to it called Dark Victory, and there was a Catwoman spinoff. And now Loeb is returning to finish, kind of like give the part 3 for this story, basically. This will continue from 2021's The Long Halloween special, which I did not read. So I'll probably need to find that. Didn't even know that existed. He and Tim Sale are coming back for this. Had planned on coming back and doing this, but Tim Sale passed away 2 years ago. So this is kind of just his way of finishing this story that they set out to finish together. It's not said whether or not Sale is going to have any kind of writing credit or any kind of credit on this, because we're not sure where they were at in the production process prior to his passing, because it has been 2 years. So I don't know, but I'm going to put this up on the screen for you and for the people watching this on YouTube to see, but there's also some artwork being shared here as well. This looks like a one version of the issue number 1 cover here. You've got Batman. You've also got one with this is for issue number 2. This is got Penguin. We've also got Riddler. So we know those two are going to be involved at least.
Okay, so these are covers, right?
These are covers of the issues. This is another cover for number 1. I think this is a variant cover because it's got Sale signature down below it. The rest of these, it's not clear.
Well, as I say, if you go through them, the artist listed on the covers change.
I see it. Yep, you're right. So it looks like this one is so Jeff Loeb's writing this. Looks like the art is done by Eduardo Riso and with Dave Stewart, Richard Starkings. And then it looks like for issue number 2, Edward Riso swaps out for Klaus Janson. And then Mark Chiarello comes in for issue number 3.
Okay.
Okay. I've never read Dark Victory, so I'll have to read that. And I didn't know about this Long Halloween special number 1. So, okay. Well, that gives us a little bit of homework, something we can look into. That's neat. I mean, I know, we did a whole episode about the Long Halloween. So if you guys want to hear us go really in depth to talk about it, please go back and listen to our Long Halloween episode. But I love the Long Halloween. We both have our issues with both the book and the movies, but I now want to read Dark Victory so I can see what was the continuation of this. That's really got me curious. I didn't know they were making a trilogy out of this story. I figured we were done.
Well, and I also feel like Dark Victory was in 97?
99.
I mean, okay. I mean, it's been 25 years. Like, why?
And then whatever this, and then I guess this Long Halloween special, Loeb referred to from 21. Loeb referred to it as a prologue.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, this is where I would love to know, did that movie that came out 2 years ago, like, spark more interest into the storyline, and that's why they're doing this? It just seems like a weird gap.
I think it was, well, you got to remember they put out this, whatever this prologue was in 22. What came out in 22?
The movie.
The Batman, which was inspired heavily by Long Halloween, which came in the box set. Well, I bought the box set. It came with the Long Halloween. So it was probably something they set out to do. There wasn't a lot of hype for it because of the Batman. Yeah. It got people talking about Long Halloween again, and maybe when what's his name, Jim Lee took over at DC, maybe he was like, hey, you know what, we're getting more buzz for this title between the movie and the other.
Yeah,
do your thing, go ahead.
No, it just seems weird. It's just like, not in a bad way, just wondering
Yeah.
what kind of said, "Hey, we should finish this after 25 years."
Well, life is full of coincidences, it seems like, because in the last couple of weeks, you and I have had a lot of conversations about a particular DC character by the name of Green Lantern. And it just so happens today that we have some news about that as well. As soon as I can load the screen, would be great. Hang on one sec. There
Oh,
we
while
go.
that's okay. Is it loading?
Sorry, it was a pop-up ad came up right as I tried to share the screen, and I couldn't close the pop-up until I closed the screen share in StreamYard, and it was annoying. I'm trying to friggin' listen. I understand that these sites need ads to make revenue. This is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
holy cow. They're just everywhere. We love you, Batman-news.com. We get so much of our information from you, but
Pull it back a little.
y'all need $5. Like, launch a Patreon. Come on. But we've been talking about Green Lantern a lot. We speculated a week or two ago that there had been a lot of like really, really low rumbling rumors that production was like already kind of underway for the Lantern show, but there wasn't a whole lot to it. James Gunn did confirm over Memorial Day weekend, though, that that the writing team at least has been attached for the Lantern show on Max. Courtesy of, and this is where you can tell it was real, the WGA listings directory.
There we go.
Updated that both Damon Lindelof and Chris Mundy have landed writing jobs on Lanterns, and then James Gunn went on to eventually confirm it on on Threads, which I'm trying to find the update for now. Let's see here, James Gunn Lanterns. I thought it was going to be in the article, but it's not. Yeah, James Gunn shares Lanterns from Deadline. James Gunn shares Lanterns update. Damon Lindelof, Chris Mundy, and Tom King.
Nice.
The man himself among writers for the Lanterns DCU series. This is the most update we've gotten on this show since the announcement. This is the first concrete anything we've had about this show since they announced it was coming. And I just recently started watching the Green Lantern animated series for the first time, loving it halfway through. We've heard these rumblings. I've just been having Green Lantern kind of pop up in my zeitgeist a lot lately, and it just seems like all things are pointing to Green Lantern. We might have something coming for you guys a little bit down the pipeline. We'll see. Just keep your ears to the rails. But these are three names that just scream talent to me, Matt. I'm just saying.
I mean, like Tom King's comics, like conceptually, he's always got some good stuff. There's been a couple things I think he's dragged out, but when it comes to television shows, sometimes that dragging out is what you need, just to kind of long form tell a story. So I think having these guys all on there is a good thing. It's never a bad idea to hire good talent.
No, it's not, and we love Tom King in this house.
So I mean, I think it's a good thing. Green Lanterns is also one of those concepts, in my opinion, like cops in space, cool green lantern ring that lets you do anything. I don't know how this guy isn't bigger. You are now experiencing that cartoon. You can see what you could really do if you just lean completely into this is a space thing, not have him go into space for 5 minutes and come back to Earth movie. But I think that's where I'm excited about this. Like that cartoon just really does show what you can do with this, and I'd love to see more of that.
I'm with you. I think when you watch that 2011 Green Lantern movie, when they're on Oa, I'm in.
Yeah.
The moment they leave Oa, I'm out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a litany of problems with that movie, but if there's one thing everyone who gives any amount of a shit about Green Lantern has always said, and I've said it a million times on this show: space cops.
Yeah.
True detective in space. That's what we need. And it seems to me more and more that's what we're getting. And we learn, again, I'm halfway through season 1 of this animated show. Oh, we can do this and it works.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know this works. So why aren't we doing it? Well, it seems to me like that's what we're getting. I'm still gunning so hard, for John Boyega to be Jon Stewart. I think John Boyega as Jon Stewart would just, man, he needs a second chance. He really does, because he got done dirty by Star Trek by Star Wars. Yeah, he hasn't even been in Star Trek, but he got done dirty by it. I really am so excited that we're officially just, again, we mentioned this last week, and I think the week before when we talked about Creature Commandos and all that. Like, we're one, every time we get something new, man, we're one step closer to this shit being real. And now this is the last week of May. We're going into June. We're officially on trailer watch for so many things now that we're in June. All right, so that's where we're at news wise, and we're recording this on Tuesday afternoon. So by the time this drops on Friday, who the hell knows what else has come out?
Yeah.
If anything, if it's big enough, we'll jump in and we'll edit it in right about here. You'll hear the and you'll know.
Well, I want to ask you this.
Yeah.
Even though we said we're going to do it in threes, first 2 episodes of My Adventures Superman.
Yeah, I didn't know they were dropping 2 episodes I forgot they were dropping 2 episodes. We're 2 episodes into My Adventures with Superman, and the show rules.
Yeah, really cool.
We'll talk about it in more detail when we get to the 3rd episode, but this show rocks.
All to say, if you guys have not taken the time to watch My Adventures with Superman, do it now.
It's
the
so
first
good.
Season's on Max.
Yeah.
The second season's 2 episodes in. Like, it is, I am really gunning. Like, because they're in the lore and not in the lore, like, you just don't know what's about to happen next. So
no, everything's out the window. I love that I truly have no idea what's going to happen next. They have gone so far off the beaten path. I can't predict anything that's going to happen next. I'm so in. All right, let's get into the main meat of this week's episode. Again, this is the last Friday of the month, which means we are doing a Batman breakdown. We have been going back through the origins of the Dark Knight in comic books for our breakdown series. Now, we've already completed Batman's year 1 and year 2. It's time for the final chapter in the Batman side of this origin, and that is Batman year 3. This one is unique.
A conundrum.
This one is something, is what I can say. It is not good. It is not bad. It is something. I have such mixed feelings about this one. But this also plays more into your hands than mine, Matt, because this heavily features your boy Nightwing in his early days. So let me go to you first on this one, and just let's get your thoughts on year 3.
Year 3 is a weird one, and I think that for the most part, all of the other year 1 books, even the ones that are Batgirl and Nightwing and Robin, here is a slice of a story from the past. They have no continuity link to anything currently happening in the comic. No. This one has everything to do with the storyline that's happening in the Batman comics at the time. You're dealing with a very violent and angry Batman because of the death of Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Nightwing and Batman still are not vibing in any way, shape, or form.
No, so, when he introduces himself, he's like, "Hi, I'm Nightwing of the Titans," to this other person, and they're like, "I know you are," and he's like, oh, "Okay, I just want to make sure." He's like, "Yeah, he's not known yet."
Well, he's known, but not like, it's not the Nightwing Batman.
He's not known outside of Bloodhaven yet, because he breaks up quite a few things in year 3, and people are like, "Who the hell are you?"
Yeah, he's not known, and he's also, what's it called? Oh my gosh, my mind is just totally, like, he's Nightwing, but he's not Nightwing crime fighter. He's Nightwing the adventurer. Yeah,
he's Nightwing the you're right. I don't know how else to describe it. He's not known for being as like a crime fighting vigilante, though. He's known for being a superhero, like part of the Titans. He's part of a super team. He's, the association with downtown. Isn't there.
And of course, no one knows he was Robin.
Yeah.
So it's a weird kind of thing, but I think also, like I said, the placement of the story, because the current timeline parts of the story are so linked to everything around it. If you don't understand where in the timeline of Batman this takes place, some of this makes zero sense because him and Batman are like yelling at each other.
They don't want to be around each other. Robin does not want, or Robin, Dick does not want to be here. Batman doesn't want him here.
Yeah.
Like this is a tense story. This is a, I mean, it's a dark story. It's not, this is not a happy fun time comic book. Like this isn't even really inspiring. This is just, it's one of those, and I had never read this before. I read this for the first time for this show, and so I can tell you that, whereas with year one and year two, they were self-contained enough stories, and you've mentioned this, they were self-contained enough. There was they furthered the mythos, they furthered the arc of the character of Batman. Like it was continued character development. Year three doesn't really develop anyone's character. It's just kind of a snapshot in the life of the DC universe at this point in time.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those, even on the Wikipedia, it mentions like this is the only one of the trilogy to not have its own collected edition.
Correct.
And now having read it beginning to end, I get why, because it's not a standalone story. Yeah. Like you can get it if you get the collected edition of Batman the Caped Crusader Volume 2, it's in that. Yeah. Because it fits in with the greater story at large around it. But year three on its own, it just can't stand alone. There's just not enough here.
Well, it also does something which I don't know if you're aware of, because I can't remember if they actually say him. This is technically the first appearance of Tim Drake.
Tim Drake.
Yes. So there's a scene where he takes a photo with somebody, a little kid before his parents die. That's Tim Drake.
Really? Yes. Is that something that gets retconned later on or something?
No, like the very next storyline begins to introduce Tim Drake into. So this is like a weird, like back.
Oh, I gotcha.
So the whole thing is
if I had read the next issue, I would have been like, oh, that was Tim Drake.
Yeah. So that's how Tim Drake ultimately figures out who Batman is because he was there when Dick's parents killed, and the fact that Dick Grayson becomes Bruce Wayne's ward, and then this Robin guy shows up soon after through detective skills and all that kind of stuff. He puts together, Robin is Dick Grayson, which means Bruce Wayne is Batman, and that's why Tim Drake like shows up in the Batcave and is like, "Hey, I'm your new Robin."
And then is slowly erased from history as time goes on. Yeah. Stop with the Tim Drake erasure. Seriously, I know he's boring, but come on. Yeah, this is a weird one. This was a weird one for me to read for the first time at 35 years old in 2024, I will say. And I'm someone who's versed in the history of Batman. I knew going into this from you, like when this took place, what the vibe was. It's just doesn't feel like a complete story. Like it doesn't, like, yeah, it ends with spoilers. It ends with Dick Grayson visiting his parents' grave for the first time in
long time.
They don't really say how long, but apparently a long time. But like there's still a lot of stuff that's unanswered. There's still a lot of stuff that's unresolved, and so this is less of a criticism of the writing of the arc, and just more of a like, really, this is where we're choosing to call the end of year three.
Yeah.
I feel like there was one more issue here. There should have been one more issue. You know what I mean? It just feels like it feels unfinished. But I also, again, completely understand now why it's never been collected on its own, because
it is the like 4 issues and like a 12-issue story arc that essentially Batman dealing with Jason Todd's death.
I guess he never deals with those. The thing.
No, and that happens after this. So like when
that's my point. Is it's just we just never.
Yeah, but the good thing about this is that you guys may not know you know the whole story, but you do, because this gives us the amazing episode of Batman the Animated Series, two-parter, called Robin's Reckoning.
If you've seen Robin's Reckoning, you've seen the better version of this story.
Yeah. The only difference between the two is that Zuko is killed the moment he gets out of jail, and there's another bad guy that Nightwing takes down by himself.
Yeah, they kind of do the same thing. Robin's Reckoning does for this story what the Long Halloween animated movie did for that book, which is it simplifies the ending.
Yeah.
Because the Long Halloween ending comic book was too complicated. Well, actually, Robin's Reckoning just gives it an ending. Let me rephrase it that way.
I'll dare say this: Robin's Reckoning, the cartoon, does to year 3 what Mask of the Phantasm does for year 2. It takes the idea, really like irons it out, makes it awesome, and makes it a fantastic animated thing. Because Robin's Reckoning is an amazing adaptation of Dick Grayson's origin and his becoming Robin.
I think because Robin's Reckoning, I know the Mr. Freeze one got them an Emmy. Robin's Reckoning did too, right? They got gold for this, right?
Yeah, Robin's Reckoning is, in my opinion, the thing that really put that show on the map beyond the fans.
Yeah, here it is. It earned the series a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Animated Program for programming 1 hour or less. Is considered one of the best episodes of the series. The second part aired a week later. Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's now granted.
I rewatched it yesterday, and cried, because it's so. I mean, and the thing is too, is like reading the book now all these years later for the first time, and being like, oh yeah, no, like it's because here's the funny thing. Let me complete one thought before I go to another one. Because what we get at the end of Robin's Reckoning is the coming together of Batman and Robin at the end of him telling him, this is why I've been cold shouldering you all this time. This is why. And there's a beginning and an end to that arc. Again, if you're going to adapt, if you James Gunn, if you're looking for DC stories to adapt, year 3, there you go.
That's your Nightwing movie.
That's your Nightwing movie. This is your Nightwing movie right here. We just found your Nightwing movie. It's curious to me that year 3, I guess, I don't know what the reception was on this thing when it came out. There's very little information about year 3 that you can find online. Even the Wikipedia and the DC Wiki are really minimalist. What I can gather is that it seems like anytime there's no like direct lines when you look on the Wikipedia or the DC Wiki connecting year 3 to Robin's Reckoning, which is weird.
Yeah.
To the point where, and this is true, I did the nerdy thing and logged on to Wikipedia and edited it and added it in. It got removed. Oh, I even linked sources to it and everything, and it got removed. So I'm curious, what's up with that? I'm really curious what's up with that, because if anybody comes and tries to say that like, oh, Robin's Reckoning wasn't inspired by year 3, he hasn't read year 3.
Yeah.
Read year 3.
The biggest difference is Dick Grayson's not Nightwing.
Yeah.
That is the big difference. He is still Robin in Robin's Reckoning. But this is something that's interesting. I don't know if you noticed. Go look at when this comic was released. Or do you want me to just tell you?
It's 89, isn't it?
August of 89.
Yeah.
So what happened within a month or two of that?
Oh, Tim Burton's Batman came out.
Yeah, so this is why I picked the comics up. Is like I pick Batman comics up so often. So then, like, oh, let me go read, and then they have Nightwing, and it's weird to me that like it does not get talked about. It does not get like. But I think some of it too is so much of it is now retconned into nothing.
Yeah.
That it's like, it doesn't mean anything anymore. Like the whole idea of Nightwing and Batman not getting along is totally erased now. The whole idea of him, you know, who killed who, like it's all just totally whacked. So
It,
that's I think what sucks the most about it.
it just, and again, and I don't mean to keep playing the conspiracy card, but now that I know this is the beginning of Tim Drake's origin, it's like, oh, are we just erasing this too because it's connected to Tim Drake? I'm not necessarily a huge Tim Drake fan. I notice we always seem to forget about Tim Drake. It's a weird thing.
See, and I really liked Tim Drake during the 90s just because Tim Drake is part of why Nightwing comes back to the Bat family.
Yeah.
Like that whole relationship that they have. Tim Drake was his Robin when he was Batman the first time.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's talk a little bit about the story itself in the book. So here's the things I really did enjoy about this one. I loved the fact that they dedicated the time to, why would the courts allow someone like Bruce Wayne to take this boy in?
yeah.
It is a big question of like, okay, here is this guy who is known for being just a jet-setting, womanizing playboy. Why would the courts agree to send this poor orphan to go live with him?
Yeah.
And I think we've all always kind of assumed it was a monetary thing, and I'm sure that was a lot of it too. I mean, yeah, the guy's got endless wealth, but like the fact that we have the scenes in the courtroom where like the head of the circus is like, yeah, I want him to come live with us. The state says it's probably not the best idea for a 9-year-old to grow up raised without parents in a traveling circus. Whatever, I was raised that way too, but okay, I kind of see it. So, I went and met Bruce Wayne. He seems pretty genuine, seems like an okay dude. And then we give the moment of actually having Bruce Wayne on the stand.
Oh man.
And I think those panels of Bruce Wayne testifying are among some of the rarest moments in Batman comic books where we are seeing Bruce Wayne with no defenses.
Yeah.
The few panels that he is on the stand testifying about why he wants to take on why he thinks he's a good fit to take care of Dick is one of the moments in comics where Bruce Wayne says the only way this is going to work is if I am completely vulnerable. I have to let down every defense I have. I cannot be Batman. I cannot be quote unquote Bruce Wayne. I need to be Bruce, son of Martha and Thomas. That's what I need to be right now. That moment in the book is so moving.
Yeah.
It's such a moving part of the book that I was almost taken aback by how good, because the book again is fine. It's not particularly deep. There's not a ton of depth to this. It's a mobster book for the most part.
Yeah.
It's a whodunit. But the moments with Bruce on the stand and also just every panel that Alfred is in this book is gold.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the relationship that Dick Grayson has with Alfred, I think is unlike anybody else's relationship with him. I think that there's something to be said for seeing those moments. And I think Tom Taylor in his Nightmare run has done some great like retro moments between them.
Just gonna bring that up.
Yeah. So I do like it. The thing for me I really like about this book too, beyond what you just said, is like I like seeing Nightwing be a crime fighter, being a detective. It's that kind of stuff, I think, in my opinion, has really left the comic of Batman. And it's just like, let Batman beats this guy up and then goes and beats the next guy up. And now we know what's happening. So, I mean, some of it's, BS detectiveness, but
I know. There's again, it's one of those, like, you gotta take a lot of the science with a grain of salt with these Batman books. I'm with you. When they were doing the montage of both modern day Dick Grayson remembering everything Batman taught him, and then also seeing the lessons being taught in flashbacks in the split panels, was such a, it reminded me of like every video game, like Jedi Fallen Order, where you have to relearn your force powers by having flashbacks to your training as a Padawan. It was very much that. It's like I would love to see this in a movie where like I'd love to see. It was very Arrow seasons 1 through 5. Like it was very early CW of like, here's what happened in the past. Here's how it applies to the present. You love to see it because we hear the stories all the time about, oh yeah, he was trained by Batman. It's like, yeah, but other than learning to fight, what did that training look like?
Yeah.
And so getting to see him, to teach him, like I'm reading the book going like, I should be more like this. I should learn to be more attentive of the things and to look for things until I'm done. Like there's some good lessons in here about being thorough. And to the point you made about like not just going around knocking heads against walls and stuff. Like, look, I'm on the record. The warehouse fight from BVS gives me goosebumps. But at the end of the day, I like my Batman to be a detective, and that's why the Batman, takes the cake for me. So having that, because this is 89, this is that transition into darker, more violent comic books and things like that. Like we're in that era now.
Yeah.
So for the thesis statement of this book to be Batman's gotten too violent, which again, which honestly, and this is a parallel I'm just now pulling. That's kind of also the same thing they use in BVS, if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's right after his Robin dies. It's right after the Man of Steel thing happens, and he goes around starts brutalizing people, and Alfred's like, hey, you're not okay. You're not okay.
Do you want me to call Dick Grayson for you?
Seriously. Well, apparently you can't, because apparently that's the one that Zack Snyder killed off. Originally, I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I don't really care. It never happened. But yeah, it's so it's very clear that like the themes from this story have continued.
Yeah.
It's just I think everyone's kind of forgotten where those lessons originally came from.
See, this is one of those where I'm going to dare say this because I'm going to ask you a question before I say this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the art in this book?
I have mixed feelings about the art in this book. I'm going to be honest with you. It's very dated. It's very of the time. It's the same feeling I had when I read the last Arkham.
Yes. Well, I like the art in the last Arkham, but that's because I like what's his name?
I like it too. It's very much of that same era. And so there are times, particularly when I'm seeing the Nightwing outfit or honestly, just any panel Dick Grayson's in. I'm going to be honest. Dick Grayson is drawn like one of the Brady Bunch in this book.
Yes.
That hair is a choice.
My problem with I personally don't. I think it's also why it's never been collected. Yeah. I don't particularly care for the art. Like the art in year 1 is amazing. The art in year 2 is amazing.
Yeah.
The art in the Batgirl year 1 is really great. The art in Nightwing year 1 is really good. I don't know that I've read Robin year 1, so I'm not sure what the art is like in that. But like the art in this is like, not only is it dated, it's just kind of this weird like Batman the movie was out.
Yeah.
You guys should have had your prime talent on this book.
I think again it just goes back to this wasn't a priority. This was just folded into the ongoing run at the time, and it continues to be. So I think that's why. I think it's just who's working on Batman right now.
Yeah.
Hey, do this. This wasn't given.
Yeah.
Like as much as year 1 and year 2 did get released as part of their runs, they were also given like special dedication. Like they were assigned special teams to make them. Yeah. This was just who's working on it right now. Okay, keep working on it. That's it. That's yeah.
But also like it's kind of weird to think about it this way. Like this is when like Jim Lee and everybody is on the rise. So Marvel has all your great artistic talent. So I don't know if they could have gotten a better artist on this book at the time.
Well, again, everyone involved in this is talented. Like this isn't a knock on anybody involved.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just not top tier.
It's not when I think defining year of Batman's career, also, and here's the really wild thing. Calling calling this Batman Year 3 is not accurate. It's not accurate. Batman's barely in this. The Year 3 part is only a third of the story. It's just the flashbacks.
Yeah.
The rest of the story is in present day, which is, and this is true, farther along than the third year of Batman, because Nightwing, because Dick Grayson is not an adult Nightwing by Batman's third year.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
Again, Robin's Reckoning does it better.
Yeah, Robin's Reckoning does it better. This is what I was gonna say. The reason I was asking about the art, this is one of those stories that I almost say go redo.
This needs another pass.
You've retcon, because they retcon some of the stuff with Long Halloween with the Year 1 thing. We've done some stuff. Maybe let's do this story again. Whether it's in the Nightwing series and you call it Batman Year 3, or it's in the Batman series, I really feel like this is one of those things you could really, like, one, you could really solidify ages and time and how things work. Two, this would give you great groundwork for what a Nightwing movie could be. So I really feel like, even though I don't know if I want Batman in the Nightwing movie, but that's just me.
I think you give him a cameo.
Yeah, but I really do feel like I really like this book. This is when I'm just discovering that Nightwing really, really is somebody. You know, so I loved it, but it is kind of a weird, like you said, it's of its time.
Marv Wolfman is still around and still writing, and I mean, he showed up in Teen Titans Go as himself. He's worked on stuff for up as far as recent as the CW stuff. So like,
yeah.
And he still he still works on comics once in a while, it looks like. So yeah, give him another go. I'd read it. I'd give it another shot. I just, make it a Nightwing book. I think,
or at the very least, just retcon the costumes.
Do something. I don't know. Again, or just adapt Robin's Reckoning into a movie and just make it the Nightwing movie. There you go.
There you go.
We did it.
We solved it for you.
We solved it for you. Look, Batman Year 3. It's not the best ending to a trilogy there ever was. I dare say it's not even really an ending to a trilogy. It's really just, this is the one that feels like filler, because it really is just kind of filler for the ongoing Batman series. I'll tell you what, though. One thing I didn't mention, the stuff with the nun was really good.
Yeah.
The stuff with the origin stuff was really good. It's a good mystery. Honestly, it's a good mystery. It's not the Long Halloween.
Yeah.
It's a good mystery.
But this is what I used to like about the Batman comics back then, is like, you've got that 1 or 2 3-issue story arc. It's a crime solving thing, and then we're done. We're on to the next thing. It's not 3 years of comics telling one story. Like, we're just in and out doing this thing. But it is like you're saying, this is like 4 issues in a 12-issue story arc that ultimately concludes with Tim Drake as Robin.
That ultimately add up to nothing.
Yeah.
It starts with a bunch of mobsters dying, and it ends with more mobsters dying.
Yeah.
It starts with, we need to find Tony Zuko's book, and it ends with Tony Zuko's book being destroyed. It ends with Alfred trying to repair ship with Bruce and snap Bruce out of it, and none of those things happen. It's a lot of setup for a lot of things that don't happen.
Yeah, this is the middle part of a story that is told in the next issue.
It also doesn't take place over the course of a year, so calling it Year 3 is also still not correct. But that's, anyway, I'm nitpicking at this point.
Well, see, and this is where I would love, like, do a Year 4, do a Year 5. I don't know. Anyway,
be done. At this point, it's 2024.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, we're talking about sequels to the Long Halloween 30, 40 something years later. Let's be done.
But hey, there you go. You found out something new. Yes, the little boy that he takes a photograph with is Tim Drake.
He's meant to be Tim Drake. Well, too bad no one will ever know, because Tim Drake is slowly being removed from history. I'm watching the new Doctor Who, and it's like, we're just gonna remove him from history altogether. All right. So that's Batman Year 3. That is the end of the Batman chapters. in the Bat family origins that we've been going to go through, but we're not done exploring the origins of the Bat family. Starting with the last Friday in June, we're going to continue our breakdown series, and we're going to dive into Robin year one. We've done Batman's year one. We've explored some of their origins. Let's see how much else of Robin's origins, like how much of his training gets explored, how much more we can learn about the development of their relationship in Robin year one. So that will be our breakdown for the month of June. Also coming up in June, we've got some cool stuff planned with some more nerd news. We're on trailer watch. We got some Green Lantern stuff coming. We've got some cool plans for the month of June. So make sure you guys are checking that out. Also, don't forget, we are planning on doing a live season 2 recap of My Adventures with Superman when the show wraps, once we get to episode 10, 9, 10?
I think it's 10. 10 episodes.
Yeah, we'll talk more about them in greater depth every 3 episodes or so on the show. So look for that next week. And in the meantime, guys, as always, thank you to everybody who sent us questions for our Q&A episode last week. You can always send us questions, whether it's on our Facebook or Instagram at WATB Pod. If you're on Good Pods, you can let us know there, or hit us up on social media. Find me everywhere at Mr. Mike Shea.
You can find me on Twitter at Mr. J Ninja.
That is going to do it for this week's episode of We Are the Batman. We'll see you again next time. Same bat time, same bat podcast channel.
Bye-bye.